Welcome to Friday, 8th September 2023. Good afternoon. This is Midday Live. In the bulletin this afternoon, an Accra High Court holds that an injunction filed is irregular. Ghana calls for diversification of banks with ECOWAS to overcome credit risk. Bringing some international news as well as North Korea reveals new submarine which Pyongyang claims can launch nuclear weapons. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you in the next 60 minutes if you stay with us. Welcome to the program. My name is Noble Crosby, and in the bulletin this afternoon, an Accra High Court has held that an injunction filed by the Ghana Police against the Occupy Bank of Ghana protest is irregular and wrong. Now, counsel for the police prayed for 7 days to amend the application, which was granted by Justice Edward Chu. Meanwhile, the NDC communications officer, lawyer Sami Jenfi, told the media that the NDC and allied groups have filed a new notice with the police for the September 12 Occupy Bank of Ghana demonstration.
What has happened in court today is very refreshing. As you noticed, the court agreed with counsel for the respondents, lawyer Eduji Tamapi, that the injunction application filed by the Ghana Police Service is irregular because they purportedly brought the action in the name of the Republic without due authorization from the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, who is the only public officer vested with the authority to bring actions in court in the name of the Republic. The court says what they did was wrong, and the police has pleaded for 7 days to amend it. We thought that we could have dispensed with that and the application moved today because of how pressing the Occupy Bank of Ghana demonstration is. Clearly, the police will want to buy time, so they had to plead with the court for 7 days to amend the process they have filed. And so we agreed with that. A new date has been set for that. But the good news is that a fresh notice, according to the police, has been served on them by the Minority Caucus. And with respect to that fresh notice, no order of injunction has been given by any courts restraining the Minority Caucus, Arise Ghana, and other progressive forces who are part of this struggle from embarking on the demonstration, which is scheduled for Tuesday, the 12th of September. And so we are making preparations for the big day, which is Tuesday's demonstration. They've invited us for a meeting, and our representatives will be meeting them this afternoon at 2 p.m. And so,
well, Duke Mental Poko is my colleague. He has been reading through the ruling and he's joining us to provide us with some update and context as to this development. Duke, thank you for joining us. Let's start with some context about the case mentioned in the document. Yes,
so this is the Republic against Dr. Kesilato Forson and 4 others, ex parte Isaac Nyako. That's the case, right? So, but the merit of the case, which is to injunct the NDC's Occupy BOG protest, which is what the police took to court, has not been determined. Let's make that very clear. The court has not made a determination on the substantive case.
Which was the injunction?
Yes. What the court has pronounced on is a preliminary legal objection that was raised by the respondents. So in this case, the minority MPs and then Arise Ghana. Now, their preliminary objection was that the writ that has been issued is defective. They argued that it is defective because the writ was issued in the name of the Republic. And once the writ has been issued in the name of the Republic, it is the Attorney General who can cause such a writ to be issued, or must, by an express fiat from the Attorney General, cause such a writ to be issued. In this case, that was not the matter at hand. and that the police themselves, under their hand, had issued a writ in the name of the Republic without the express fiat of the Attorney General. And because of that, the police lacked what we call in law the locus standi, or the locus, or they lacked the capacity, in simple terms, to be able to bring such an action against the respondents. This is the case, or this is the preliminary objection that lawyer for the minority and the NDC MPs, Edwidzi Tamakloe, raised before the court. Now, the police, on their part, said they are a state entity. They are on a creation of an act of parliament. And because of that, I mean, quoting legal precedents such as Chatu and the Attorney General and others indicated that the police, they are clothed with those powers of state, acting under as a constitutional, as a creation of law, to be able to bring such an action in the name of the Attorney General, who is empowered by articulating it of our Constitution to initiate such matters.
Explain to us the legal processes that will follow now that the court has allowed the applicant to amend the title of the application. Before
I even get there, let me read the judgment, what we will call the ratio of the judgment, or the reasoning of the judgment. This is what Justice Twum says. He says that with the greatest respect to the counsel for the respondents, that's the minority, it is the considered view of this court that the applicant, that's the police, has not breached any legislative provisions as from the evidence on record. The applicant did not purport to institute the application for and behalf of the Republic. And even if he did, as indicated earlier in this ruling, the applicant could have a leeway under Section 11C and 2 of the NRCD 27. It is the interest of fairness and justice. It is a considered view of this court that the technical, under the circumstance, the preliminary legal objection raised by the counsel for the respondents, as the NDC, is hereby overruled. The applicant is hereby granted leave to amend the title of the application to reflect intentions of the applicant, as can be gleaned from the affidavit, and have same served on the respondents within 7 days from the date hereof for the motion to be heard. So therein lies your answer.
Clear.
Yes, that because the court has ruled that in a way and manner, the police should have come in their own name, suing in the name of the Inspector General of Police, and not in the name of the Republic. They should go and amend their writ and serve it on the respondents, that is Ketzel Forster and the 4 others, in the next 7 days, so that the substantive matter of whether or not the NDC and the minority MPs can use the routes that they want to use for their demonstration, before that matter can be heard before this judge in the High Court of Accra, Justice Edward Twum.
Duke, thank you so much for joining us. Duke Mental Poku is my colleague who brought us update and a breakdown of the ruling from the court on the preliminary objection that the minority MPs sought from the court in regards to the Occupy Bank of Ghana protest. Stay with us here. We'll bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. But to some other subjects this afternoon, and work has started on clearing the debris after an accident on the Accra-Tema motorway. This comes days after an accident on the expressway. Now, $1 million are being committed to the exercise, which will commence in a few hours. There will also be the installation of high-powered solar panel street lights to aid visibility on the stretch. George Queening joins us for some updates on the happenings on the Accra-Tema motorway. George, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. Update us on the issues about the visibility of the stretch first.
Thank you, Claude. Good afternoon. I'm coming to you live from the Accra-Tema motorway. I'm actually at the toll booth on the Tema stretch of the highway. And as you're aware, on Sunday, September 3, there was an accident that took place here, and it was a haulage truck and a fuel tanker. So it destroyed a portion of the toll booth. But according to eyewitnesses, it was as a result of poor visibility and the fact that there was free flow of traffic when it gets into the toll booth. And so it's a reason it has really resulted in the accident. So the officials of the Ghana motorway here this week to actually hand over the site to contractors. There are 2 of them. So the contractors, one is working on the installation of solar powered street lights to keep visibility in this very area, and so the other will also be demolishing the extension of the highway when they get to the toll area. So with the installation of the street light, they'll take at the Tema toll and that of the Accra. And according to the Ghana Highways Authority, they're going to cost more than 1 million Ghana cedis. I talked to the project of the installation of the street light. It says, bearing any activity, it should be done with less than a week. And so when the installation is done, that is when the contractor now be demolishing the very, very facility here, because we also need some sort of visibility whilst working at night. And talking about the whole state of the Accra-Tema motorway, which is a 90-kilometer stretch. Ghana Highways Authority says it's at the design stage where you're trying to put things together. And so by 2024, we'll see major works on the Accra-Tema motorway. Of course, motorists, we can't wait to see a sign of it. So this is the situational report here.
Right.
The project, the site has been handed over to 2 contractors, and that is and the demolition of the extension of the highway.
George, 2 issues here. Before you take leave of us, talk to us about the clearing of the debris after the accident occurred on the motorway. We understand efforts are being made to remove it as at this moment.
Okay, so the installation will be starting today, and so when the contractor starts work, that's where we're clicking all the debris going to pave way for its work to begin. So hopefully by the close of the day, the debris will be cleared.
George Craning, thank you so much. George Craning is our reporter on the Accra-Tema motorway there. To some other subjects this afternoon too, the National Democratic Congress and 4 other political parties have gone to the Supreme Court to stop the limited voter registration carried out by the Electoral Commission. Among others, they are of the view that the EC's decision to restrict the centres of voter registration to the district offices may deprive many eligible voters of their right to be registered as voters and to vote in elections. Meanwhile, MPP Member of Parliament for Doma East, Paula Prekuchum, is urging the Electoral Commission to ensure that all persons eligible to register are given the opportunity to do so.
I believe the Constitution is clear that every person or every citizen who is 18 years and above must be given opportunity to vote. It is their civil right, and no one should take it away from them. So the EC has a duty to ensure that anybody who is 18 years and above casts his or her vote. However, the processes of doing that must always, or must also be good, must fully, must be, how do you call it? Must be exhausted. It's a limited registration in the first place. Obviously, yes, if you decentralize to a certain point, some of us will all be saved. I mean, as we see it, we've been tasked to see how people will get votes, get registered and all that. But also, don't forget, as a citizen, you also have a duty to know, to make sure that you are registered. So even though, yes, we are calling on the EC to ensure that every effort that they can do or they can put in to ensure that these people are registered without any difficulties, we are also calling on the citizens to help the EC achieve that aim. It must be a win-win. I appreciate what my seniors or the other party people are doing. Yes, this is the right call. Take it such a way that everybody can. So I don't think sometimes that's why we have IPAC. We must sit and be able to draw.
Well, private legal practitioner Martin Pebu says citizens have the legal right to sue the Electoral Commission if they can provide evidence that the limited voter registration exercise at district offices will result in their disenfranchisement. He remarks, and the remarks follow a lawsuit filed by 5 political parties, including the NDC, is challenging the upcoming limited voter registration exercise scheduled to commence on September 12.
At least about 3 million of our citizens live on less than 24 Ghana cedis a day. Poverty is so high. So it beggars believe that he can come out with a registration process that says that go to the district offices of the EC. Some of them long distances, long. I think one day somebody was showing that one of the distances is over 100 kilometers. All right, it's not possible. So perhaps minimum, even if the EC cannot do for all, then the longer ones, perhaps they will start with those ones and bridge.
Okay.
Open more offices for registration in those ones. So something can be done, but it certainly cannot be registration in only the district offices of the EC. So it's good that citizens are engaging. Yes, because Article 45 says that the EC should have programs to expand the voters register. Right. So Article 45 says that it should register people to vote in an election. So don't do it in a manner that will suppress votes.
Right.
No. This conduct by the EC smacks of voter suppression.
Private legal practitioner, lawyer Martin Kpebu talking about the disenfranchisement there. Now, President Akufo-Addo is to inaugurate the first oil from the Jubilee South area on the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah. The Jubilee South area, which is a $1 billion joint venture investment received from the Jubilee partners, is expected to boost the Jubilee field oil production. Irama Smith is in Takoradi. She's joining us with some more updates on the development. Irama, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. What is the capacity of the Jubilee South area? Irama, can you hear me? We're trying to reconnect the lines to speak with Irama Smith, who is our Western Regional Correspondent there, on updates concerning the ongoing development in the oil field in relation to the Jubilee South area. When we're able to connect with Irama Smith, we'll bring you that conversation, as the President is expected to take some very important steps in this regard. But in the meantime, over 600 pigs affected by African swine fever have been killed in the Kwewu West municipality of the Eastern region. Pig farmers are counting their losses.
The African swine fever was detected 3 weeks ago among pigs and confirmed after laboratory tests this week. At Kwewu Akwabwa, a pig farmer, Dr. Kwesi Owusu, has been hardly hit. He has incurred a loss estimated at about 2.2 million cedis from losing over 500 pigs to the African swine fever outbreak.
I don't know what to do. All what I'm trying to do is to wait until the system will be clear up. I think the doctors have been coming here, the vets are here, and the directors are here. So we are waiting for them to tell us the way forward.
The Kwewu West veterinary officer, Dr. Mark Owusu, confirmed the outbreak and assured it would be controlled.
The farmers, we are advising all of them to be patient and do not allow any new pig to come to your farm. Do not move your pigs. Do not sell the pigs within Kwewu West. We are organizing a seminar for the farmers.
The Kwewu West Municipal Agriculture Director, Francis Dogbache, urged all pig farmers to quickly report any symptoms to veterinary officers to avoid widespread.
Though it's not harmful, it is not zoonotic, it is something we need to manage in order to contain it. And also, he was a nominee we shortlisted for the regional livestock best farmer for the 39th edition of the National Farmers Day. We were only waiting for the inspection team to come around to conduct the inspection, and this catastrophe struck. So in fact, this is a deep blow to us.
African swine fever, a viral disease, is a highly contagious, deadly swine disease that can affect both farm-raised and wild pigs.
Now, President Akufo-Addo is to inaugurate the first oil from the Jubilee South area on the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah. The Jubilee South area, which is a $1 billion joint venture investment received from the Jubilee partners, is expected to boost the Jubilee field oil production. Irama Smith is in Takoradi on the beat of this development. She's joining us to provide us some update and perspectives. Irama, thank you for joining us. Talk to us about the capacity of the Jubilee South area. Irama, can you hear me?
Can you give me 10 more?
Unfortunately, we're not able to speak with Irama Smith there. We'll be bringing you that conversation in our subsequent bulletins as the day goes by. But going back to issues concerning agriculture, where farmers along the White Volta in the northern part of the country have begun harvesting their food crops prematurely. Now, this is due to the Bagri Dam spillage, from which thousands of hectares of farmlands are already submerged.
Farms along the White Volta, including Galaka, Kuzongo, Salpiga and Zongiri, have been submerged in rising floodwaters, forcing farmers to start harvesting prematurely. Many cannot access their farms, and those with canoe access can only observe water levels. The fates of these farmers hang in the balance. Salifu Matthew is considering prematurely salvaging his maize, but is uncertain about the storage capacity of the harvested crop.
This is our fate as farmers along the White Volta. We couldn't salvage anything except this maize in front of me, which has also rotten. I'm compelled to harvest my maize, though they are not fully matured. I have to do so. Maybe I might end up getting a day's meal at least.
Ayam Akigri faces a significant challenge as her crops are nearing maturity, and her primary concern is repaying the loans she contracted for the farming season.
This area has been the source of our livelihood many decades, but not anymore due to the devastating impact of the Barry Dam spillage. My major concern has to do with how to repay the loans.
Farmers are demanding urgent intervention to address the Barry Dam spillage, with the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, advising residents to relocate to higher grounds to avoid being caught up in the floods.
Now, hours after the police service announced in a statement the interdiction of 3 of its officers caught in the leaked tape saga, the service has suspended the said interdiction. Now, the trio were implicated in a leaked tape, allegedly plotting the removal of the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare. In a statement dated September 7, the police indicated that the decision to suspend the interdiction of COP Mr. George Alex Mensah, Superintendent Emmanuel Eric Jibi, and Superintendent George Asare was to ensure it did not affect the ongoing probe by Parliament. COP Mensah, appearing before the parliamentary ad hoc committee looking into the matter, accused the IGP, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare, of mismanaging the police service. He told the committee that the IGP's leadership has led to a decline in the morale among officers. You're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby, and we're back with more stories, but after a break, stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
As the Ghana's most beautiful competition reaches its peak, the stakes are higher than ever before. With each passing week, the contestants have dazzled us with their grace, poise, and cultural prowess. Our contestants step out of their comfort zones and embark on a mission to explore the vibrant African cultures. They will immerse themselves in the heart of other African countries to live, breathe, and celebrate their cultures, traditions, and ways of life that define our African brothers and sisters. This eviction week, you have the power to support your favorite contestant by dialing *713*13# to any network, or by downloading the TV3 reality app. Ghana's Most Beautiful is live this Sunday, only on TV3.
GMB 2023 is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, GTP, Techno Camon 20 Series, AT, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon Infused Formula and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soup, Key Soup, Bell Pack Tissues, Sankofa Natural Spices, Vitamilk, Deluxe Acrylic Paint, Nescofa Blood Tonic, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Enapa Foods, Freedom from Casapreco, Frutelli Calipo, Duffy's Health and Beauty, Obuasi Bitters, Nubuna Womwankasa, Dragnet, Shalatem, Top Choco, Global Wings Travel and Tour.
Makeup was done by House of Tara.
Freedica Music.
Donuts on the beat.
So it's a matter of flavor, taste, spice, and herbs this week on Kitchen Wars Season 2.
Maoko, Mayoda. We are representing Achimota Senior High School.
We didn't come to make noise, we came to show you how it's done.
But I see Motown is in the building. Right. Got my heart broken by a Motown boy many years ago.
Can we give her one?
Oh. Okay. Okay. Who carries the day for Group G? Let's find out this Sunday, 5 p.m. right here on TV3. My name is Cookie, and this is Kitchen Wars. Kitchen Wars!
Kitchen Wars Season 2, Sundays at 5 p.m. on TV3. Don't miss it.
Sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix.
Enapa Foods, say Enapa, Enye Ono Soko.
PGL.
Well, he scored the winning goal, of course, when these two sides last met at the Emirates.
Pass this way.
Mike, why did you put the suitcase on top of the wardrobe?
For a foul on Haaland by Saliba. It's not in a
Now I can't reach it. Please help.
cleared by Tommy Yasu.
I'm really sorry about that, okay? I'll take care of it.
Headed it, and it hits the bar. Well, he scored.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Showbiz 360 on TV3. And this is where everything happens every Friday. Your ultimate stress reliever. Showbiz 360. Right here on free. Hey! You the guy in the Ghana jersey, make no trial. Don't touch it. I didn't beg you. So why do you want to change the channel? Eh? You get one by your body. Nice, babe. And you want to change your channel to football. Why? All right, so cool down with some popcorn and enjoy the wide variety of entertainment we've got coming your way. This is where you kick off your weekend. Fan pack, interesting celebrity convos, you name the gossips, plus lots of fun activities, all right?
Number how yes way Mary Babunche.
God be great, God you want it. With me, Giovanni Caleb, every Friday, right here on TV3.
Watch Showbiz 360 Friday at 9 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Black Rock Honey,
Betway,
KFC.
Welcome back to the program. Now, farmers along the White Volta in the northern part of the country, they began harvesting their food crops prematurely. Now, this is due to the Bagre Dam spillage, from which thousands of hectares of farmlands are already submerged. We'll be speaking with Dr. Charles Nyaba, who is the Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of the country, for some update on this very unfortunate development. Dr. Nyaba, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Now, we know that long term, as farmers of the country, this is not the first time that the spillage of the Bagre Dam is having immense effect on farmers in that part of the country. But how can Ghana address this issue?
Good evening, and to yourself
and the farmers across the country who are listening to us. The issue of Bagre Dam, sincerely speaking, should have been a blessing to us because water everywhere has been used for either agricultural activity, hydroelectric activities, or domestic activities. But in our case, every year around this time, we always have to cry because Burkina Faso have to open the Bagre Dam. Now, if you look at the route or the rivers where this water passes, during the dry season or even around this time, you go there and the crops are looking different from other crops on uplands. It means around that area, the lands are very fertile. So over the years, even though we advise the farmers not to farm too close to the river belt, yet they go there. So I ask them, why do you have to always go here when you know that your crops are likely to be submerged when the water starts flowing? For them, they think in recent time, cost of inputs is so high that when you go to upland, you need so much fertilizer to be able to get the same yields that they are getting planting along the White River Basin. So to me, I think what we need to be doing as a country to use the split as a blessing is to create dugouts along the White River belt, where during this time around, when the water spill, it will all move into those areas. I've spoken to a number of engineers from the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority, and they said it is possible to do that. They just need some resources, and that amount of resources that are needed to create those dugouts is even lower compared to creating dams on uplands. But our attention have not been drawn to those areas. So to me, I think that's the way to go to be able to address this issue of annual spillage of Bagre Dam and the effect that it has on farmers along that route.
Dr. Nyaba, if we were to harvest these produce before their time, what impact will that have on the levels of food safety we're talking about?
Of course, in many years, our estimate is that after the spillage, farmers lose closer to 60% of what is supplied along that route. And mind you, that is where we get large quantities of pepper, large quantities of onions, large quantities of tomatoes, all kinds of vegetables, cabbage, watermelon. We are getting a lot along that White Volta Basin. So it means that the current crisis we are crying in terms of the onion shortage due to the coup d'etat in Niger would have been a bit minimal. We per our estimate, now that the route to through Benin to Niger has been blocked, our onion stock that we have will not take us more than 1 month.
Okay.
So it means around the month of December, we are likely to have shortage.
Right.
But if this effect hadn't happened along the White Volta Basin, it's possible we would have been able to have a larger stock of onions and other vegetables.
Dr. Nyaba, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Dr. Charles Nyaba is the Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association there. To an earlier story, and hours after the police service announced in a statement the interdiction of 3 of its officers caught in the leaked tape saga, the service has suspended the said interdiction. Now, the 3 were implicated in leaked tape, allegedly plotting the removal of the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekuffo-Dampare. In a statement dated September 7, the police indicated that the decision to suspend the interdiction of Mr. George Alex Mensah COP and also Superintendent Emmanuel Eric Jebi and Superintendent George Asare was to ensure it did not affect the ongoing probe by Parliament. Well, COP Bright Odro, retired, is joining us to offer some perspectives on the ongoing development in the police service. He's the former Director General of Police CID. COP, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Now, just hours after the interdiction, it was suspended. Are you surprised at the turn of events?
Well, I'm not very surprised because some of us yesterday spoke vehemently against the decision of the police administration to interdict the officers. You had a probe being conducted into the leak tape, and matters had already reached a certain level where I believe the probe was to be conducted in camera. And out of the blue, we hear the officers who were witnesses in the probe, they had been interdicted. So some of them spoke against the interdiction and said that it was premature and preposterous to have interdicted the officers who were witnesses before the probe. And they had been interdicted at a time when they were making a lot of revelations about the happenings in the police service. And they had been interdicted when other officers had petitioned the committee that they were prepared to appear before the committee to give evidence. So how do you interdict them? If you do that, then it means you are guarding the other officers who also have concerns to raise from coming to the committee to give evidence. So that was why some of us thought that it was inappropriate, it was improper, it was premature to have interdicted these officers at that time.
Right. Mr. Oduro, in the face of the context we find ourselves in, the investigation of the alleged plot to remove the IGP and the U-turn suddenly by the police service in suspending the interdiction, does it lend credence to the opinions of many that the police service maybe is not being managed well?
Can you go over again? I think the line was breaking.
So what I'm asking COP is that the U-turn by the police service in suspending the interdiction of these officers in the face of the context we find ourselves in, does it lend credence to the fact that the police service maybe is not being properly managed?
Well, yes, I think there is some credibility. You could see. Even the warden, the interdiction has been suspended. I mean, what does it mean? If you are lifting in the interdiction, lift it. And then at the appropriate time, you come to tell us what action you're going to take. You don't even prejudge because you say you are going to take disciplinary action immediately after the probe is over. Do you know the outcome? Are you in a position to find out the outcome of the probe? So how do you say that we will take disciplinary action after the committee has finished its work? You don't know the result. You don't know the recommendation they will make. And so how do you jump the gun? So you see the wording. So there is basically something not right in the police service. And these are the things these officers were talking about. So let's have heart, let's have ears, and listen to their concerns, listen to the views of these officers who are police officers and who are in the service and who know what is happening and who are impacted by the kind of administration that the administration is offering. So let's have ears and heart and mind to listen to them. And if there are problems, then we all come together and see how to rectify whatever problem there are in the service.
COP Bright Oduro retired, thank you so much. COP Bright Oduro retired as the former Director General of the Police CID, speaking with us there. This is Midday Live. We're back with some business news after this. Stay with us. Let's join Manu Afo for some business news. Manu, over to you in business.
Thank you very much, Cosby. Welcome again to the business segment. My name is Manu Afo. We'll start off with the second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, LC Awazi, who has called on ECOWAS member states to bring on board practical ways to get banks within the sub-region to diversify to overcome credit risks. She underscored the need in adopting new perspectives when it comes to financial oversight. LC Awaji was speaking at the 43rd Joint Ordinary Meeting of the West African Monetary Agency in Accra.
In many of our countries, banks are heavily invested in government securities. Ghana seems to be one of the very few countries that has also done a domestic debt restructuring. And so it's a bigger problem for the banks. Many countries where government has done debt restructuring, they normally would focus on the external debt restructuring. But given the level of debt unsustainability in Ghana, we definitely had to do a domestic debt restructuring as well. The implications are dire. And so we need to all wrap our minds around, and I do hope that this week as you meet, you think of very practical ways in which you can get banks to begin to diversify away while they still have time. I think supervisors have to be very bold to get banks to understand that these instruments are not risk-free, and that there comes a time of reckoning.
The Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, has stressed the need for the government to use procurement as a means of driving industrialization locally. The Greater Accra Regional Chairman of AGI, Chona Makpelo, believes if government allocates significant quotas of all its purchases to indigenous manufacturers, the economy will receive a major boost.
It is crucial that we take time and steps to understand and reorganize our procurement processes in order to ensure that they are not only efficient, but there's really truly value for money. At the same time, procurement must be used to enhance local production and local manufacturing. In other jurisdictions, in a more developed societies, you realize that procurements are used to promote local production. Most procurement in certain jurisdictions are reserved for only nationals and citizens. And we believe that procurement in Ghana can also be used to promote local businesses. There's nothing wrong to reserve 50% of every procurement activity for companies owned by Ghanaians. That way, you'll be able to help build capacity which is needed and also help to expand and create jobs which are lacking in our society.
And that's it for the business segment on Midday Live. My name is Menu Afo. Stay with us. We have more news coming up after the short break.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo Superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
The Ultimate Energy Personality of the Year at the 7th edition of your prestigious Ghana Energy Awards. Under the theme, Ghana's Energy Transition Framework, sector institutions as building block for the 2030 to 2040 target. You can nominate yourself or an institution for categories such as CEO of the Year, Energy Investment Impact Award, Energy Signature Award, Endorsement, Validation, Industry Partners, Media Partners, TV3, Ghana Energy Awards, 7 years of redefining excellence.
When it comes to the world of sports, what does complete mean to you?
When my team scores at the end of a 30-plus passing sequence, you know, just like Pep Guardiola style.
When someone beats the buzzer with a shot from the logo, like Steph Curry.
Dominating opponents and punching my waist to a knockout like Africa's greatest boxer, Azuma Nelson.
Running so fast I can afford to celebrate midway through a 100-meter race and smash the world record like Usain Bolt.
Hold up, what makes all of these sports complete is the stream. This is where you get access to all the extensive highlights, analysis, and insights.
So do join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. live on 3FM 92.7 as we serve you the best sports buffet and most satisfying in the sports world. The 3 Sports team will come together to review, preview, and analyze the latest in the sports world here on Sports Ultras.
It's gonna be a very influencing episode on Here to Win. Busting your brains, wow.
want to cry.
What was Logan Cavelli's favorite subject in secondary school? The Kisi, the Meru, the Kiyuyu are which tribes in which Malawi? Ivory Coast is to the east coast of Ghana. True or false? True.
Here to Win shows Saturdays at 8 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by Kill It Insecticide Spray.
Gino Tomato.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Let's join Ori Kwampofu for some sports news. It's Friday. The weekend is here. A lot of things will be happening in the sport arena. Ori, over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Crosby. There's one big thing that everyone will be looking forward to this weekend, and that has to do with the U.S. Open. But before we do that, let's quickly recall events on Thursday as Ghana secured qualification for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations after they recorded a 2-1 victory over Central African Republic at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium in Kumasi on Thursday. A late goal from second-hour substitute Enes Nuama completed the comeback as the Black Stars went through the qualifiers without defeat.
First one, see if they're free now. So it's a foot coming with them. But now, can we see the first goal? Everyone in the first yellow? Yes, we can. And it is the Central African Republic who take the lead. And of course, it is that man again, Louis Mafuta. It is Kudiso, and it's found its way in. That is the equaliser. Whether percentage player or not, it was Kudus who took the free kick. Lembe got a hand to it, but could only palm it onto the inside of it. Easily equal to it. But winning the ball back again here, and the referee hasn't whistled. And there is the winner. That is surely game over. And it is the substitutes combining. Semenyo finding Anis Tapia. Ghana lead 2-1. And it's surely now Ghana will be further pleased.
It was jubilant scenes in Kumasi as Chris Hughton remains unbeaten after 4 games as Ghana head coach. My colleague Thierry Nyan was at the stadium and filed this report after the win over Central African Republic.
Picture this, a pitch-perfect performance by the Black Stars of Ghana here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, and especially in the second half where Enes Nuama stole all 3 points for the Stars in the end. It was backed by the likes of Antoine Semenyo and Mohamed Kudus, who himself got himself a goal in the first half to cancel out what was an early lead by Central African Republic. But in the end, the Black Stars of Ghana rose to the occasion and have gathered all 3 points, needing only 1 point. They got even better, all 3 points to seal qualification to the tournament, that is the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. It's been Operation Côte d'Ivoire for some months now, but in the end, the Black Stars of Ghana have sealed their qualification, and it has been over the likes of Angola, who would finish second in Ghana's group. Chris Hughton is a happy man.
So for me, it's always about the ending. The ending is that we won the game. I think in the end we could have won it more comfortably with more goals. So we continue to work.
For the fans, they turn up here in their numbers. It wasn't a full stadium, but for those who were here, they were loud in their voices, showing full support to the Black Stars, who would have no complaints, about the turnout over here. And the fans are a happy bunch as well. What were your expectations?
It was a good game, a great game, but you could see the opponent was very physical when they came. As they had an early goal which destabilized the team a little bit, but we came back strongly, and it's good we've won.
As compared to what the previous matches against Angola and the other teams, I can see that this team is one of the best, especially for the second half. But for me to be convinced about how we are going to get the trophy back home, for that one, I think we have so many things to do before we can do this.
Well, looking at their performance today, in fact, we won the game from the bench. It was a tactical decision that catapulted the Black Stars to the victory. This is because looking at the first half, it was a balanced game, end-to-end action. But during the second half, looking at the changes the coach did, that also enhances Black Stars' performance.
They wanted to have early goal and then catch us on the break. But then our defenders, our goalkeeping department, and then our midfielders did so well.
So the Black Stars of Ghana topping their group with 12 points, and definitely this is everything they needed getting into the tournament. And hopefully this tournament in Cote d'Ivoire will be the one that the trophy does come home. Reporting for TV3, my name is Thierry Nyan from the Baba Yara Sports Stadium in Kumasi.
To some tennis now, where after a lengthy delay caused by protesters, Coco Gauff and Aryna Sabalenka emerge as winners in their respective U.S. Open semi-finals. Both will play their first U.S. Open final and second major final of their career on Saturday. Here's what they've been saying ahead of the showdown this weekend.
No, be even louder. Thank you guys so much. This is crazy. I grew up watching this tournament so much, so it means a lot to be in the final. A lot to celebrate, but you know, the job is not done, so hopefully you guys can back me on Saturday.
She's an unbelievable player. She's playing really incredible tennis here at the US Open, and yeah, crowd will be supporting her a lot. I mean, that's something I expecting. This is nothing crazy. I'll just go there and just do everything I can, and just fighting for every point, and yeah, I'll do my best.
And so we do know the final is for the women. So we're finding out for the men's much later today when Djokovic faces US Ben Shelton. And then in the other semi-final game, we'll be seeing Daniil Medvedev come up against Carlos Alcaraz. We'll bring you updates of that and many more on our social media handles at 3SportsGH. My name is Ray Kwampofu, and up next on the Bulletin is Entertainment with Noella.
Well, let's join Noella Donko for some entertainment news. Noella, what's in the package?
Well, episode has been talking majorly about the whole Ghana-Nigerian thing and the support and all. So we have some details coming up in the bulletin. So let's get straight to it. And Reggae Dancehall Artiste episode has said that the slow-paced growth in the Ghana music industry should not be blamed on lack of investment. Now, episode feels strongly that the industry can make headway if established artists support one another and use their star power to support upcoming ones.
Well, I think it's a factor, but then again, it's not also stopping us, because regardless of these finance and all of these things, we have one or two artists who are affiliated to all these major names or labels which are pushing these other Nigerians. You get what I'm saying? If that is really a factor, then I think the Tanzanian market or the East African market shouldn't dominate. But they are doing good regardless. You would have artists like Imboso with crazy numbers. You know, you would have the Zuchus, you have Sautiso and all these. And if the new artist gets to even have a 1% of that Salty Soul Rich, then it means that Soul Generation in the next 5 years would actually also adapt new artists and then follow with them, and that is what we're lacking. You understand what I'm saying? Say, yes, some of the artists have disappointed labels, some of the artists have disappointed investors, but say we the artists can share the next artist. It's very nice to see a Ruger advert play at a Sake's concert. Can we do same here? Can you see an episode advert play on another artist's event? Until we get to understand that it's not a one-man fight, it's actually for all of us, nothing will change. You know, because, what these guys do, we can do 10 times. Swear to God, put me on that stage. Nobody know my song. Asake go run. You understand? But we are doing this to us.
We'll definitely be looking forward to that. But a lot has been happening in the entertainment space over the last 24 hours. And here are some top entertainment stories making waves.
Welcome to Entertainment Tidbits.
After losing out to Benjamin Epps in the BET Best International Flow category 2022, Ghanaian sensation Black Sherif has bagged another nomination in the same category for the 2023 BETs. He is nominated alongside the late AKA from South Africa, Central C from the UK, Gazo from France, J Hus from the UK, KO from South Africa, Major RD from Brazil, Nino from France, Sampa the Great from Zambia, and Tasha and Tracy from Brazil. All the best to you, Blacko, and we're definitely more hopeful this time. After all, they say a second time is a charm. There seems to be a lot to celebrate in the Ghanaian music space as Stonebwoy becomes the latest Ghanaian artist to feature on Grammy Recording Academy's Global Spin. He performs Manoji featuring Angelique Kidjo of his Fifth Dimension album. This announcement comes in barely 3 weeks after Sarkodie's live performance of his hit single featuring King Promise titled Labadi was featured. The Global Spin at the Grammys is a digital performance series held in conjunction with Grammy Museum that celebrates global music and international artists.
This week on Global Spin, international Afro pop star Stonebwoy serves up an electric performance of Mano D. Reppin' Ghana, give it up for Stonebwoy.
Well, that's it for entertainment here on Midday Live. My name is Noella Donko. Do join us today at 5 p.m. for The Trends with AJ Sapon. Up next is international news.
In news across the Ghanaian border, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has held a ceremony to reveal a new submarine which Pyongyang claims can launch nuclear weapons. State media said the submarine strengthened the country's nuclear deterrent by leaps and bounds. It has been named Hero Kim Kun-ok after a North Korean naval officer and historical figure. A nuclear attack submarine has long been on the list of weapons North Korea wants to build. Kim Jong-un is quoted as saying that the sub will be one of the Navy's main means of underwater offensive. Analysts believe it is a Soviet-era Romeo-class sub, the same that Mr. Kim inspected in 2019 but has been modified to carry nuclear weapons. South Korea has condemned the launch and questioned the sub's capability, saying the North may have exaggerated them. Now, the Pentagon is repositioning some troops and equipment within Niger and will withdraw a small number of non-essential personnel out of an abundance of caution. Now, this is the first major American military movement in Niger since a coup in July. Officials who spoke on condition of anonymity declined to say how many personnel would be departing and how many were repositioning within the Niger base from Air Base 101 in Niamey, the capital, to Air Base 201 in the city of Agadez. Before this movement, there were 1,100 troops in the West African country. That's our package for you this afternoon, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com, if you log on for more. My name is Noble Crosby, and on behalf of the entire production team, thank you so much for watching the bulletin. It's the weekend. Enjoy it. Bye-bye.